High Desert State Prison, located in Lassen County, California, would first open its doors in 1995 and today houses over 3,200 minimum, medium, and max security custody individuals. Back on March 26, 2021, inmate William Dye would be attacked shortly after 11 a.m. inside of a recreation yard within the prison. And although life-saving measures would be initiated and CS gas and pepper spray had to be used to stop the attack, inmate Dye would be pronounced deceased at 11:58 a.m. The two inmates in question and suspected of William Dye's death were Jason S. Peters and Stephen W. Tonkinson.
On hate crimes, Fox News has uncovered a disturbing trend in racially motivated attacks.
Aiden Pickering is here now with part one of his special investigation. Aiden.
Well, John, Christine, it's about skinheads fighting skinheads. Some believe that rivalry is creating a vicious cycle of violence in which innocent victims are being caught up. Tonight, in a Fox News investigation, the story behind the story, the anatomy of a hate crime. The testimony of a 14-year-old boy shocks a hushed courtroom in a little publicized case in LA, held in the same building as the O.J. Simpson trial.
You're a white supremacist, is that correct?
Yes.
As a white supremacist, what do you believe in terms of white supremacy?
I believe in having our own Aryan race.
And is that a white race?
Yes.
Okay, can blacks be part of this?
No.
A preliminary hearing involves 3 alleged white supremacists, all facing the possibility of life in prison after a shooting earlier this year in the Antelope Valley.
Racism's f***ing ignorant.
And there's a unique backdrop to this crime involving a conflict between rival groups of skinheads, a setting some say that makes this type of crime more likely to recur. Heads shaved, one skinhead piles upon another, members of the same group in Lancaster letting off steam. A party house, where the dog is the only one with hair.
This is Kibbles. Hey, check it. Who is it?
Unless girlfriends come over. But look at the insignia.
The O, and then the L, and then the R.
And you'll find these guys are very different from what most people think of as skinheads.
All skinheads aren't racist, and the original skinheads weren't racist either.
They call themselves skinheads against racial prejudice, or sharps.
What's up, man?
They just like the skinhead look and point out the movement was founded in fashion.
Psycho City right there.
Not fascism. But with many skinheads embracing hate and Hitler, the sharps are prepared to fight their racist lookalikes.
White power.
Not many street corners away from the sharps are Lancaster's other skinheads.
They ain't skinheads, this is skinheads right here.
White power.
It's straight up white power.
These teens say they're members of a brotherhood called Nazi Lowriders. Others go by the name Peckerwoods. They are racist and spew a vocabulary of violence and hate.
Those who oppose us shall die by my hand.
The talk degenerates into schoolyard boasts of wanting to kill minorities. They laugh and use racial epithets.
They push us around all our lives. Why do you think we are the way we are?
They say that we're
And they wonder
prejudiced.
why we hate them so much.
But why should this clash of ideas and the resulting fights on the streets of Lancaster and other Southland communities matter to the rest of us?
Some people in a car were shot at by skinheads.
County Sheriff's Deputy Chris Haymond recalls the incident that led to this week's court case. And it happened here. A dark blue Honda had just pulled up on this street. Inside, 3 men and a 4-year-old girl, all African-American. 6 shots rang out. The 2 men in the front seat were injured by the bullets. The 2 in the back, including the little girl, were injured by flying glass. The case is in its early stages, but the DA is using tough new legislation to prosecute this as a hate crime.
That they are skinheads, that they are against blacks.
And the court agreed to requests by victims and witnesses not to be identified. The DA explains why.
Because all of them have expressed a fear for their safety, in that if they testify and indicate what they know in terms of what the skinheads did to them, that they have a fear for their safety, that some harm may come to them.
Now Fox News has uncovered the story behind the alleged hate crime, and it's a story with chilling implications for everyone.
There's like 2 white power people standing like up there on the curb next to the windows.
Johnny is a member of a sharp group. They're the non-racists. He says the day of that shooting started with yet another confrontation with some racist skinheads, this time involving his friend, whose name we've chosen not to reveal.
They called him a nigger. and basically they were like starting a lot of stuff with them. So got into a fight with one, knocked him out.
Johnny says when his friend drove past a few minutes later, there were more taunts.
Got out of his car, put a gun in his waistband, and asked him. He said, you know, do you guys have any problems? The white power guy said no.
Fox News caught up with Johnny's friend, who's not a sharp member, but someone Johnny claims was lending them a bit of muscle against the white power skinheads.
About 5 of them just came up and was saying racial slurs. I just got mad and hit one in the eye.
He's vague about the gun.
Was there a gun involved?
No, not really.
Not really?
Not really.
Johnny says the stage was then set for a street fight between the Sharps and the white power skinheads. He claims they waited for the Sharps to show at this intersection, and that's where the shooting occurred later that day.
The person who actually got shot, they were driving a dark-colored four-door Honda, which basically looked like his Sentra that he was driving.
The two believe it was all a case of mistaken identity because of a similar car.
The first of mine that called me and said 2 of my other friends I got shot. Mistakenly supposed to be for me.
Investigators are more cautious.
That's another thing we're continuing to investigate. That's a good possibility.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a good weekend. Just getting off work here. Been a hell of a day, but want to get this video up before the end of Saturday. Really quick before we jump into it, I want to give a thank you to each and every one of you who took the time to watch my last video and comment on feedback, on questions I had posed about how I wanted to do my channel going forward. So just keep it 100 with you guys, keep it transparent with you guys like I always try to do. This year has been awesome for this channel, and I was kind of on this up where everything was going up. All the numbers across the board were going up. And man, talk about, you know, getting humbled or getting a good reminder that to never get settled, never get comfortable, that you always got to keep pushing forward and keep working hard in life. I think I fell out of the algorithm. My last few videos have just done fucking terrible, to be honest with you guys. Just been awful. And it got to me. It bothered the shit out of me. So last video, I was ready to damn near, not scrap the channel, but scrap the whole format of my videos. And damn, thankful to each and every one of you who took the time to say, hey, man, you know, we like how you do things. Yeah, there's some tweaks and changes you can do. One of those tweaks and changes is going to be I'm not doing a big-ass long intro anymore about the same generic, if you like, subscribe, comment, all this stuff, engage. Now, we're not doing all that shit anymore. If you like the video, great. I hope you subscribe. Hope you leave a comment. If you don't got to watch. It's all good either way. But I just wanted to take a second there and thank you guys for giving me some feedback. Because I am honest on this channel. I am transparent. I do get vulnerable. I do get depressed. I do get sad. I do watch my numbers like a hawk. I do care. I do. Anybody says they don't care, they're lying to you guys. Fuck yeah, we care. 100% we care. As people who make videos, as just humans in general, we care. Okay? Absolutely I care what people say and think and all that stuff. I'm a person. Who doesn't? So anyway, thank you guys for the continued support. And anyway, we're going to be talking about a murder that took place. We're going back to kind of the roots of 2025. We're going to be talking about a murder in CDCR at High Desert State Prison. Damn, one of those places we seem to be at quite often on this channel. March 26, 2021, the death of William R. Dye. I got some good background information on him, as well as one of his skinhead alleged murderers. Okay, article, March 26, 2021. Officials at High Desert State Prison are investigating the death of inmate William R. Dye as a homicide. Dye, 52, was attacked by 2 inmates shortly after 11 a.m. on a recreation yard, stabbed with an inmate-manufactured weapon. Officers used CS gas and pepper spray to stop the attack, and although life-saving measures were initiated, Dye would succumb to his injuries, and he was pronounced deceased at 11:58 a.m., so he didn't even make it about an hour, give or take, after the attack. Most recently, Dye was received from Butte County on November 19th, 2009 to serve 49 years and 4 months to life for attempted second-degree murder and possession of a controlled substance and receiving stolen property. Court also gave him 4 enhancements for having prior prison terms, another for committing the offense while released on bail, and another for intentional discharge of a firearm. Inmates Jason Peters and Stephen W. Tonkinson are the suspects in this case. Oh, and Dye also picked up an assault with a deadly weapon while behind bars. Yeah, he picked that up in 2017. He got those extra 8 years. And then he died 4 years later. Peters, 28, was admitted from San Bernardino County on April 28th, 2014. This guy was like knocking over gas stations and some serious robberies to serve 16 years for second-degree robbery, attempted second-degree robbery, and vehicle theft, all second strikes, with enhancements for prior felony conviction of a serious offense. Got some good background information on him, involved in the Skinhead gang. Definitely could tell meth and drugs and all that are definitely involved. I put that picture up of him while they were like looking for him while they'd been arrested. You could tell he got a lot healthier while he was locked up. Still has that wear and tear face of heavy drug use over the years. I had that look for a long time. I definitely still did age because of my 10 plus year drug spongeness, my drug run. I have talked about recovery a lot on this channel, and that's one thing I really wanted to just pause and say. Thank you to those of you who said keep up the recovery talk, because it is important. And sometimes I forget to mention it. Guys, I'm ADHD, I'm ADD, I'm high strung. You know what? I know there's a lot better put together channels out there. There's things I want to talk about sometimes, and I forget to. Just straight up, I forget to. But recovery is something I need to focus on talking about each and every video. For those of you that do know my story, I have a little over 5 years of sobriety. March 10th, 2020 is my sober date. I was a massive opioid addict, kind of stereotypical. Started with pain pills, moved to heroin, and then turned to other drugs. Once those took over, I was a 10-plus year strong opioid addict, and then the last couple years of that 11-year run, Xanax. And then once you start going down that road, cocaine, and then, the blackouts start and wind up in jail. Not even know how you got there. By the grace of God, I got sober. And we got over 5 years, and a few months under the belt. But when I see pictures like the Jason Peters picture and all that, and I see the wear and tear and the drugs, and I'm going to assume meth, not saying that other drugs don't play a factor, but I'm going to say in his case probably meth played a major part in that. The Skinhead gangs seem to definitely be meth, heroin, stuff like that with the white boys. Any of you struggling out there, man, comment down below. Go get the help. Reach out. It's never too late. Stephen Tonkinson, 26, was admitted from Sacramento County on January 20th, 2017 to serve 10 years for assault with force likely to produce great bodily injury, a second strike, with an enhancement for use of a deadly weapon and another for inflicting great bodily injury. So those are the two suspected murders. They ended up, they obviously did do it. Staff observed these guys. You go back, you watch the cameras and all that. They're having to emit CS gas and pepper spray. It's like... They're not, they say you got to read these reports of the suspects, right? But it's like they killed him. Okay, so our victim in this case, William Dye, I found a really good appeal that was filed on his behalf, and he gave a really good background. Because remember, he got 49 years and 4 months for attempted murder and all this stuff, attempted second-degree murder. So we're going to read from this appeal. And remember, this is like a factual case of the background, so it kind of jumps into the story. And when it says defendant, that's William Dye, all right? Usually I do a pretty good job of saying the name, but sometimes I'll just say defendant. So no, that's who I'm referring to, is our guy, in this case, William Dye. On the evening of August 31st, 2007, a party was held at a Chico motel. Present were William Dye, Christopher John's girlfriend, Christy Scarborough, Lena Forbes, Chris Smith, and Smith's girlfriend, Antonia Taylor. Alcohol and methamphetamine were consumed. When the meth began to run out, Forbes suggested that they buy more from victim Donnie Powell Jr., who lived nearby. Forbes and Taylor went to Powell Jr.'s apartment, where Forbes purchased a quarter ounce of meth for about $300. After about 45 minutes, Forbes and Taylor returned to the party and shared methamphetamine with Dye, Johns, Scarborough, and Smith. Then the methamphetamine ran out. Damn, they're going through it, man. Forbes believed that Powell Jr. had access to a large amount of methamphetamine and could furnish more to the group. John suggested to William Dye that Powell Jr. could furnish more meth. Dye asked to borrow Forbes' car. She watched as defendant Johns and Scarborough left together in her car. Defendant Dye was driving. On the evening of the party, Donnie Powell III was staying with his father, Powell Jr., at his Chico apartment. Powell III, remember, Powell Jr. is the one who supplied the meth. Now you involve what probably his son, Powell III, was on the living room couch. Powell Jr. walks in, and his girlfriend, Teresa, were in the bedroom watching television, talking and dozing off. The bedroom door was closed. Late in the evening, Scarborough arrived at Powell Jr.'s apartment and knocked on the door. Powell III looked through the peephole and saw Scarborough, whom he recognized as a family friend. So Powell III opens the door and saw that she was accompanied by William Dye and Johns, whom he did not know. The trio entered the apartment. Scarborough wanted to see Powell Jr. Powell III knocked on Powell Jr.'s door and told him that Scarborough was there. Powell Jr. said, quote, "We're busy." So Powell III returned to the living room. According to Powell III, the trio went to Powell Jr.'s bedroom door and knocked on it. Scarborough believed that only defendant William Dye and Johns approached the door. Scarborough sat next to Powell III on the couch and talked to him while Dye and Johns sought entry to the bedroom. Powell III told Scarborough that the men were going to make his dad mad. Scarborough replied, "Well, they're mad," which prompted Powell III to observe the two men. In an ensuing police interview, Scarborough said her words had been, quote, "Doesn't matter, they're pissed off already." However, she had not known that anything was about to happen. So she's sitting there with the son of Powell Jr., who's this meth supplier, who already sold him a quarter ounce for $300. And you got him at, they're high, they're drunk. So they run out and they're immediately, which is crazy that they ran out, but they're going, all right, this guy's got more, we're going. So they walk in the house because the door gets opened. The third goes to Junior. Powell the third goes to his dad's door, Powell Jr., knocks on the door. He says, tell him I'm out. Tell him go away, I'm done. Well, William Dye and this other guy, they don't take that. So they go to the bedroom door and start trying to find a way in. They're geeked up. Scarborough, she's on the couch with Powell III, and Powell III, it only regularly recognizes her. He's like, "Hey, man, this guy's going to piss my dad off." She's like, "Well, they're mad too." And then Johns would testify that he was not angry at Powell Jr. and had no ill feelings toward Powell Jr., who essentially was helping them out. They were not on bad terms. John was not aware of any hard feelings Dye may have had towards Powell Jr. Sfor, the girlfriend, testified that someone kept knocking on the bedroom door. Sfor is the girlfriend of Powell Jr. So she's in the room with Powell Jr. He already told his son, "Hey, man, tell these guys to go away." And after approximately a few seconds go by, right, she testified that they kept knocking on the bedroom door. Seconds go by, she testifies to becoming irritated and upset. And after another 45 to 90 seconds, she got up, opened the door, and there's Dye and Johns. She had never seen them before. When Powell Jr. saw the two men, he jumped out of the bed and stood next to it. Johns testified that Powell Jr. and Sfor were acting nervous as if they had been caught having an affair. Johns entered the room, nicely put his hand on Sfor's chest, pushed her back almost to her side of the bed, and told her that she needed to leave. Johns explained that he wanted Sfor to leave because he did not know her and did not want to talk about drugs in front of her. However, she did not leave. Powell III saw Johns walk to the bedroom doorway and stand there, while William Dye stood behind Johns in the hallway. After hearing the sound of a punch, Powell III ran down the hall and glanced between Dye and Johns to check on his father. Powell III made eye contact with Powell Jr., whose expression suggested things were okay. Then Powell III returned to the living room and sat with Scarborough on the couch. God, that'd be brutal, man. You're watching your dad go through this. Drug den addicts. You got to just put yourself in that position, man. He continued to look down the hall to make sure his dad was okay. Sfor, the girlfriend of Powell Jr., testified that the other man, Dye, entered the bedroom almost immediately, pulled a black 8-inch revolver from his waistband, and shot Powell Jr. in the face as Powell Jr. tried to duck. Powell III similarly testified that the shorter, thinner man, Dye, reached into his waistband and pulled out a gun, then heard a pop. Powell III ran towards his father as the two men fled out the front door, and 911 would be called. That's insane, man. And then eventually they got rounded up. So you see why William Dye, our victim in this case, got 49 and a half years. And when I read these appeals, and this is why I like bringing these stories to you guys, because it gives layers to the story. And I'm not saying William Dye deserved to get killed in prison. Absolutely not. But sometimes it's a reminder why these guys are here and why these guys are in these max security units. This guy went into a house high as fuck and murdered a guy in cold blood right in front of his son. At the end of the day, that's exactly what he did. Okay, Jason Peters, one of our alleged, hate saying the words alleged, but one of our alleged killers of William Dye in this case. Now, he's a skinhead out of the Inland Empire, out of Rancho Cucamonga. Okay, this is where they were knocking over Shell gas stations. They were believed to be involved. His group was believed to be involved in like a dozen or so. 2 men and a woman, this is an article from November of 2019. 2 men and a woman who are believed to be active participants in the local white supremacist criminal street gang have been arrested for allegedly being involved in an armed robbery at a gasoline station in Rancho Cucamonga last month. Every time I say Rancho Cucamonga, you know what I think about? What movie, guys? Friday. According to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Kevin Gilmer, 24, San Bernardino, Jason Stephen Peters, 26 of Highland, and Sarah Lucas, 32 of San Bernardino were taken into custody separately in the weeks following the robbery. The incident took place on April 10th at the Shell gas station in the 12300 block of Highland Avenue. The victim reported 2 male suspects entered the business with handguns and demanded money. The store clerk complied and opened the cash register. The suspects took the money from the register along with several cartons of cigarettes. The 2 suspects drove away in a gray Honda Civic. The incident was caught on camera and a description of both suspects was obtained. A record check of the license plate from the vehicle driven by the suspects revealed the vehicle was reported stolen. One suspect, identified as Gilmer, was later contacted in the same vehicle by deputies in San Bernardino. I put the picture up of Gilmer after he'd been testified there in the red bandanas and stuff, and that's our guy Jason Peters next to him. Rancho Cucamonga Police Department detectives served a search warrant at Gilmer's residence and seized evidence linked to the robbery. Gilmer was arrested on charges of vehicle theft and robbery. He got booked in the Central Detention Center where he remains in custody. Detectives conducted an extensive investigation to identify the 2 outstanding suspects involved in the robbery. As a result, Lucas was identified as the getaway driver, that's the girl, and Jason Stephen Peters as the second suspect in the robbery. Lucas got picked up April 19th, and on May 5th, Peters gets picked up. He was picked up while he was allegedly driving a stolen vehicle. To be honest, man, and I know guys are like, you don't judge, don't look at pictures and tell. Man, I can tell when somebody's on drugs. I've been around it for half my life, all right? I can tell meth. I can tell by a lot of times by the crimes they're committing when they're on a good one. These guys were on a good one, okay? That's just what it is, all right? And same thing, man. Within just a couple of years, Jason Peters is committing an in-prison murder. Just gives you an idea, man. This stuff is never ending. It's a vicious cycle, and it only goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you are wrapped up in addiction, if you are wrapped up in the system, there's nothing special about these individuals and these stories, guys, that we talk about every day. It can happen to you. It can happen to your loved ones. Reach out. Get the help. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.